Hello everyone, konnichiwa, welcome to 2019. I had a lot of fun making videos to Japanese last year, and I want to really step up my content and do a lot more interesting things for you guys, because more interesting content to learn Japanese means you'll get better at Japanese. I have my ad here with my details on it. I do in-person lessons across the Perth area. Otherwise, I also do online lessons, and they'll be very similar to the quality you see here. 今日は28日1月2019年. Alright, so this is the lesson sheet for today. This bit.ly URL, you can click on click on this in the YouTube description box below, and it'll take you to this document so you can get the word list and a link to the article. Okay, so today's article is going to be about the former world record holder for longest living man in the world, who used to be a Japanese guy. We can see him here. Now I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to read the article first, and then we'll go through the word list. So I would really take the time to listen to the article, and maybe even don't look at the screen, and just try and work on your listening and work out what this article is about and the details, and then maybe look at it later, and we'll go through the vocab and you can look at it in a bit more detail. Okay, so let's get started. So we got the headline here. So 世界で一番長生きの男性の野中さんが亡くなる。北海道足寄町に住んでいる野中正蔵さんは1905年7月25日に生まれました。去年4月には世界で一番長生きの男性というギネスの世界記録になりました。20日、野中さんが113歳で亡くなりました。野中さんは長い間旅館を経営していました。去年の誕生日には家族と一緒に好きなケーキを食べました。いつもはテレビで相撲を楽しんでいました。19日まではいつもと同じように生活していましたが、20日午前1時半ごろ、寝ている野中さんが呼吸をしていないことが分かりました。野中さんと一緒に住んでいた孫の女性は、おじいちゃんのおかげで私たち家族も幸せな楽しい毎日を過ごすことができました。寂しいですか？おじいちゃんが亡くなるまで家にいることができてよかったと思います。と話していました。Alright, so let's use our Google Doc and go through the word list. Now at the top here again, I've got a bit.ly URL which will take you to the actual article I just had up on screen. I would really recommend you open that one up so you can compare the two. Alright, so let's go through our word list here. So first off, we've got sekai. This kind of means the world or the society, and here we're talking about the world's oldest man. So that's the kind of context it's in. We got nagaiki. Now this, it says longevity or long life, but I guess I kind of think of it, these are two separate words. So you've got naga and iki. Now naga, maybe you know this word nagai, this means long, and iki, this just means to live. So naga iki, the longest life kind of thing. Now we got nonaka, so this is the name of the guy, nonaka-san. We have nakunaru. Now this is a word that often throws people. It's kind of it means to die, as it says here, but it's kind of a nice way to talk about death. It's kind of a figurative way to die. Actually, nakunaru also means to lose something as well, but it generally gets used in this kind of situation where, you depart. So it's kind of a nice way. Often in this kind of situation, you're not going to use the word shinu or something like that. Alright, what else we got? We've got Hokkaido. Okay, this is the island up the kind of north east of Japan. We have Ashorocho city. Now this kind of thing, this kanji, it's pretty tricky. I would be surprised if all Japanese people could read this properly, basically. It's proper nouns like this can be a bit tricky. Unless it's a famous city, people generally don't know how to read it, something like this. Okay, we have umaremashita. This is to be born. Kyonen just means last year. We have Dansei, so he's the world's oldest man. Guinness, so the Guinness World Records. Sekai Kiroku, a world record. Nagai Aida. So again, we've got this nagai word, and Aida just kind of means a period or an interval. So nagai Aida is like a long period or a lengthy period. We've got ryokan. I mean, we see that the translation is just ryokan. This is basically a traditional Japanese inn. So it's like some lodging. You generally have kind of a traditional Japanese meals there, and you don't have beds or chairs generally. You kind of have the futon, right? The tatami rooms with the futon, and you have like a big bath, and you know, you wear the yukata. It's all this kind of very traditional lodging. It's generally a professional business rather than kind of like what you would call minshuku. Okay, we have KA. Now, a bit of an advanced word, this one. Now, it's got a few definitions here. I mean, it really does mean management or administration, but here, the one I've left in bold is running a business. Okay, so the article says ryokan o keie shite imashita. So he was running a ryokan. Okay, we have tanjobi, so this is a birthday. Kazoku, his family. Issho, so this is together. We have ski, liking or fondness. Sumo, so this is sumo. Tanoshindeiru, so this comes from the verb tanoshimu, and it's just the te form of that, so tanoshinde, because all our verbs that end in mu go to nde. And then we have iru, so it's like an ongoing state of affairs, because this is talking about he used to watch TV and kind of enjoy sumo. And in Japanese, they use these ongoing, this te iru form to kind of talk about something that he did and it was ongoing. So he used to like constantly enjoy watching sumo, I guess. We have onaji, which means the same. Seikatsu, which is like living life, lifestyle, kind of a very broad word in Japanese actually. I have Hatsuka, another good bit of a revision. It's the 20th day of the month. So notice we've got a bit of a different pronunciation with this guy. And also it's good to remember this other word, hatachi, which is when you turn 20 years old. So Hatsuka, hatachi. Yeah, very good to remember in tandem. We have gozen, so this means the morning or like AM, I guess, in this instance. Ichijihan, so 1:30. Goro, now this is basically a suffix, and when we add it to time, especially, it means like around that time, approximately that time, something like that. We have neru, which just basically means to go to bed or to lie in bed. Kokyu, this means breathing. Well, fancier word is respiration, but you get by breathing. This is not a word you really have to know. Koto ga wakarimashita. So this is just kind of this koto ga dekimasu kind of form, or koto ga like koto ni narimasu. But really it's just kind of saying it was understood that blah, 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 blah happened. So what we're going to see in the article is, from what I can tell from the article, he basically just stopped breathing one morning at about 1:30 in the morning. And I'm guessing that they have like some kind of monitor set up to him. So that's how they know the time that it happened, but it wasn't life support or something which will keep him alive. It was just kind of measuring his oxygen or whatever. So they're kind of saying, well, it was understood or it was known that he died. He basically stopped breathing at 1:30 in the morning and then he passed away. So that's what this koto ga wakarimashita. We understood that, blah, 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 blah. All right, mago, this is a grandchild. Josei, this is the opposite to dansei, it's a woman or female. We have no okage de. Now this is a bit of a set phrase. I mean, really the word is okage, but we always have no and de on either side of this. And really it's saying, you know, X no kage de, thanks to X, okay? You know, due to X, you know, because of X, owing to X. So generally it's always used in a positive situation, right? If you want to say it's someone's fault or something, you wouldn't use okage de. This is generally, you know, God does something, or, you know, teacher does something or something like this. And here in this article it's talking about, well, because of, you know, grandpa being, you know, always kind of happy and living his life to the full, that kind of inspired the rest of the family to do the same. So it's like, thanks to grandpa, our kind of outlook on life has also changed. We have shiawase, which means happiness or good luck, fortune, this kind of thing. Here it's really just being used as happiness, I would say. Sugosu, So this is the past time. And last word over here is sabishi. Now notice here that this word actually has two readings. So it's sabishi or samishi. Either is okay, it's just personal preference. I tend to say sabishi because I was in Nagoya and I just noticed that's what people tended to say. I don't know if it really changes that much according to location, but you can say whichever one you choose. All right, so let's just go through this article kind of line by line and look at some of the more kind of finer grammar points. So first off, we've got our headline. Nothing really too crazy going on here. You know, 世界で, so, you know, around the world. 一番長生きの男性, so the 一番長生き, so the number one longest living 男性, person, right? The male, right? The longest living male. の中さんが亡くなる. Alright, so the longest living guy, basically called の中さんが亡くなる. So he is the thing that passes away. が亡くなる. Ga nakunaru. So this ga is really telling us to look, saying, well, this verb acts on the no naka-san. I forgot to think about it that way. All right, so this next one. So, Hokkaido Ashoryocho ni sundeiru. Okay, so, you know, Hokkaido Ashoryocho, and it's like, well, sundeiru, to live, and ni sundeiru, so lives in Hokkaido Ashoryocho, so it lives in this place in Hokkaido. Nonaka Masazo-san wa. Now, these names, okay, especially their kind of first names, quite tricky to read, so don't beat yourself up if you find you can never read Japanese names. It can be a bit tricky. So wa, so they're given his full name, wa 1905年7月25日に生まれました. So he was born on the 25th of July 1905. Pretty crazy. All right. So 去年4月には, so last year in April, 世界で一番長い生きの男性というギネスの世界記録になりました. Okay, so again with Japanese sentences, we always want to kind of focus on the end. So we go ni narimashita. So it became something. Something became something. What do we have? 世界記録になりました. It became a world record. And then we got Guinness no sekai kiroku. So this isn't just any world record, but I guess Guinness is the gold standard, but Guinness no sekai kiroku. All right. And we have Toyu. Okay. Now Toyu, really good little phrase to learn. Take him's website, learnjapanese.org. He explains these various versions of Toyu on there. So I would really look at that lesson if I were you, and you can't understand this very well. But Toyu is kind of like the so-called or the so-named. So basically, he became the world record holder of world's oldest man. So that's it. So that's why we have these square brackets here. So in April last year. Okay, continuing on. So 20日. So on the 20th, 野中さんが113歳で亡くなりました. Okay, so we're saying on the 20th, and really it's because there's no other context here. You just have to assume that it's this month. And indeed, when we scroll up, we'll see what this article was 1月21日ですね. Alright, so this article was written one day after the event happened. So it's kind of saying he died at the age of 113. And as we'll see, his birthday's in July, so the math works out. Alright, he would have been 114 this year if he'd managed to get to his birthday. But 113歳, すごいですね. Alright, so now we have bit of background on Nonaka-san. So Nonaka-san wa nagai aida. All right. Now this nagai aida, it's a really good thing to notice these types of phrases because there's certain ways to say certain things in Japanese. And when you want to say a long period or a long time, you know, you're not using this word toki or something like this, you know, nagai aida. This word aida, it gets used quite a lot in Japanese to describe periods or intervals of time. So this is a very nice way to say it. Nonaka-san wa nagai aida. So for a long period, Nonaka-san, ryokan wo keie shite imashita. Keie shite imashita. Okay, so we notice here we've got ryokan, which is our traditional Japanese inn. We have 経営, which is to run a business, and then していました. Now, the fact that we have a past form here, this kind of tells me that I know that he's passed away, so obviously he's not running the ryokan anymore, but combined with this word 長い間, it tells me that, well, he was basically retired, okay? He wasn't doing this anymore. He did this when he was able to, and then once he got, I don't know, whatever age he got to when he retired, but once he got to some age, he kind of stopped doing that job, okay? So していました. But notice also that this is the te form. So it's kind of saying like he was running the ryokan, okay? So this is very common in Japanese. They'll use this ongoing state of affairs, but then put the past form on it. And trust me, this takes a bit of practice to get used to why this gets used so much, because a lot of people would probably go with ryokan o keie shimashita. And it just isn't full enough in Japanese. You can express a bit more nuance if you have shite imashita, because it's like, well, he was, you know, running ryokan. Anyway, 去年の誕生日には, so on his birthday last year, 家族と一緒に好きなケーキを食べました. Okay, well, we can see 好きなケーキ. So basically his favorite cake, を食べました. He ate his favorite cake. And again, we see 家族と一緒に. Okay, と一緒に. I think I actually would have said, I think I said の一緒に when I did the word list, but it definitely should be と一緒に. Sorry about that. But 家族と一緒に. So together with his family. All right, this is what is very common. It shouldn't be no here. But yeah, 家族と一緒に好きなケーキを食べました. All right, so he ate his kind of favorite cake with his family on his birthday last year. So いつもは, so いつも just means always. So いつもは, as for always, テレビで相撲を楽しんでいました. So again, we've got our te form with our past form. So it's kind of saying it was something he did. And what did he do? Well, 相撲ですね. 相撲を楽しんでいました. So he doesn't really, it's kind of implied, but he enjoyed watching sumo on the TV. テレビで相撲を楽しんでいました. Now, this word here, 楽しんでいました, as I mentioned in the word list, it comes from 楽しむ. Now, a lot of you will be very familiar with this word 楽しい. Okay, now that's an E adjective. Here, 楽しむ, it's acting as a verb. Okay, now it just means basically the same thing, except obviously because it's a verb, it has a bit more, I mean, you can do different things with it basically. So it's good to keep both of these words in mind. You basically get two words for the price of one. All right, continuing on, we've got 19日まではいつもと同じように生活していましたが、20日午前1時半頃寝ている野中さんが呼吸をしていないことが分かりました. Alright, so ことが分かりました. So we understood something, okay, and what was it? 呼吸をしていない. 呼吸をしていない. So he wasn't breathing. 呼吸していないことが分かりました. So we understood, and when I mean understood, it's basically like, you know, they looked at some data, it's probably some printout, or they looked up the diagnostics of, again, I'm guessing all this, but I'm assuming he was hooked up to some machine which was measuring him, and they looked up the machine and says, oh, he stopped breathing at about 1:30 in the morning. So, 野中さんが呼吸していないことが分かりました. And then we see it, 寝ている野中さん. Okay, so he passed away in his sleep. Went to bed, and then at some time during his sleep, he stopped breathing, and that was it. So, and we see 20日午前1時半頃. So he passed away about 1:30 a.m. on the 20th. And then this is kind of interesting, but we see 19日まではいつもと同じように生活していましたが. Well, first off, が, again, take him. He's got a section called compound sentences. He'll explain this が, but really it just means but. So, but 生活していました. Now, 生活, I said, very broad word in Japanese. But 生活していました, he was like just living his life. He was just going about his normal routine. Nothing really seemed wrong. And then 同じように生活していました. Now, ように, it means like an appearance or seems like. So it seemed like he was having the same kind of lifestyle. He's just kind of motoring along. Nothing really seemed to be out of the ordinary. And 19日までは, So up until the 19th. いつもと同じ. So the same as always, basically. いつもと同じ. This to, it's really kind of saying, you know, with always or and always. You know, いつもと同じ. Kind of a set phrase, I would say. But as always, he was just living his life, but then he passed away in his sleep. So it's not like he had some kind of big health issue or something that they think caused it. All right, last little paragraph here we have 野中さんと一緒に住んでいた孫の女性は. Now they don't really name who she is, but this is just a female, it's a granddaughter of him, okay? And she was living together with him, right? 野中さんと一緒に住んでいた孫の女性. So granddaughter was living with him. And then we got a quote here from her. So she says, おじいちゃんのおかげで. Now, thanks to おじいちゃん, thanks to Pop Pop, whatever we want to translate this as. 私たち家族も. So 私たち家族も. Now, it might seem a little bit redundant here, but 私たち, so us. No, 私 is me. This たち is like a pluralizer. So 私たち, so us. 私たち家族. So basically the people who we live with, the people who knew him and saw him regularly. も幸せな楽しい毎日を過ごすことができました. So again, we should probably go from the end here, but ことができました. So we're able to do X. What's X? 幸せな楽しい毎日を過ごすこと. So 過ごす is to pass time or to pass something. So we see 毎日を過ごす, passing every day. 楽しい毎日を過ごす. So basically we were able to kind of go through the days having fun, you know, having enjoyable days every day. And then 幸せな楽しい毎日. So saying, you know, we were fortunate, we were lucky to have these, well, I guess I should say it's more like we had happy and enjoyable every days together with the guy. And then she says, 寂しいですか? So it's sad, but again, we've got our ga here. 寂しいですか? おじいちゃんが亡くなるまで. So until he died, 家にいることができてよかったと思います. So 家にいること. So being in the house. Okay? 家にいることができてよかった. Now again, a bit of a set phrase here, but if we just ignore the よかった, 家にいることができて, or できる, I guess if that makes it a bit easier. Basically, he was able to stay in the house. All right, so despite the fact that he was 113 years old, they didn't put him in some kind of specialized caring facility or something. It seems like his health was good enough that he was able to just be at his own house. He didn't have to move. So できてよかった. Okay, so we put the te form of できる there and then add よかった. So it's like, I'm glad that he was able to stay in the house up until the point that he died. Then と思います. Right, I think that it's good that he was able to stay in the house. And then と話していました. So again, this is just saying, you know, she said this, blah, 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 blah. So it's actually saying it's a quote from her. All right. That about wraps it up from me. I hope this article helped your Japanese a bit. A really good article, I think, to have a read through yourself on your own time, because there's lots of numbers in here. And numbers is one thing that I think you can never really get enough practice on. So have a read of this and have a look at this amazing guy who managed to live to 113 years old. Pretty good. ありがとうございました。